Confucius, the renowned philosopher, once said, "Choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life." Now, it's not in all of these cases that all of us get into our dream jobs or careers or find our calling early on, right? With the ongoing pandemic, a drastic change in your career can seem very, very far fetched for most of the people out there. Now, keeping all of this in mind, we here at Great Learning have come up with this video discussing about a change in your career in 2021. Now, we will discuss a lot of important points through which we aim to answer this question. Should you change your career in 2021? Well, make sure to watch this video to find out the answer to this very important question.
Before we get started, I want to introduce you to Great Learning Academy. This is a free initiative by Great Learning where you can have access to over 200 plus courses with 1000 plus hours of free content on all of the trending high demand domains absolutely free. Register now to complete the course and get your free certificate of completion as well. Check out the link in the description box of the video below for more details. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This is done to make sure you do not miss out on any of the new updates or video releases from Great Learning. And of course, guys, if you enjoy this video, show us some love and do like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, right? So make sure you share this video with your friends, colleague, and everyone who can make use of it. And at the end of it, make sure to comment on the video if you have any queries or any suggestions, and I'll be more than happy to respond to all of your comments.
Right, guys, to begin this video, the first most important thing that we have to discuss about is the pandemic, right? See, 2020 was a year which was very, very different for most of us, I suppose. It was definitely my first pandemic, and I share this view with a lot of people in the world of information technology today. So taking a look at career prospects for the entire year of 2020 were very dim because first of all, there were a lot of layovers in the start of 2020 during March, April and all of those, right? But the trends changed. At the end of the year, at the end of 2020, people started hiring back for all the critical and non-critical roles as well, right? Now, it so happened that people predicted that things would go down in a really bad route, that it would hit another very big IT recession and all of that. But thankfully, that wasn't the way, right? Things were picking up really quickly at Q4 of 2020, but now things are looking very stable when we're down to 2021. Right? So the entire switch from working throughout a pandemic has made sure that people are bringing in their new skills and they're adapting to the workforce itself, right? Now, it so happens that you require a lot of skills to work from home, a very different skill set from actually being present in the office and all of that. It's not only that when you have a job, these are all the cases. Even if you're a person who's in college or a person who's definitely looking forward to switch your job as well, the entire process of interviews, onboarding, and all of these are at a very drastic change, right? So keeping all of this in mind, we're going to discuss a lot of important things here. The third point in the current discussion is to make sure that working effectiveness is high and high up in the population as well. Now, what we mean by this is basically at the end of the day, people believe, and surveys are there to prove the same, that when people are working from home, they seem to be more effective, and this effectiveness is just going up and up. All of these data are coming in somewhere around Q2 of 2020, and the numbers just keep going up. That's a fantastic trend if you guys are looking to switch your career, in this particular year. But the most important point in discussion was again that in 2020 a career change was not the right option for all. It was very bleak. People were very worried that they would lose their job if they planned to switch. People had standing offers which got cancelled, which got postponed indefinitely, and all of these things. But all of these have subsided by a lot, by a huge margin in the year 2021, right? So if you're a person who's looking forward for a career change in 2021, I am sure you will have a lot of questions as well. So I highly suggest you begin by taking a moment to pause and reflect on what you truly want in this year. The biggest barrier all these days was your geographical location as an employee, right? Give it a thought. The chances of you working for a company in Europe or USA, if you're in either of these countries, was a little bleak. In fact, it's not just USA or Europe, right? It's anywhere across the world. Your geographical location was a prime limitation for many of these job roles out there and careers, of course. Nowadays, these kinds of geographical and locational limits are down. They are no longer barriers for work. Since the entire world is working from home, you can work from a cafe, you can work from a country of your choice. Of course, your time zones will be different. That's another talk. But people are looking forward to it. People are realizing that, they are open to an entire world wide of employees if they drop this barrier. And of course, that's the trend that's being set now. And the most important thing, there was a time, when we were hired based upon our IQ, based upon our emotional quotient, and all of these things, right? Now there's another term, it's called as AQ, it's called adaptability quotient. Adaptability quotient talks about how well you can adapt to a new environment, a new type of job, a career itself, or whatever it is. So since you're based upon this metric, it is giving clarity to the employer that you as a person is adaptable, that you can you're open to change, you adjust yourself there, and of course you're effective at your role there too, right? That's an important point you're supposed to know. The next thing is that people are actually finding a good amount of time to now think about their go-to career, right? Be it a switch from a technical job to a non-technical role, or vice versa, from a non-technical role to a technical role as well, right? So when this is the case, when people are actually thinking about what they want to do, they have more and more clarity about the same. Whenever you think about a role that's present in the industry, or a role that is not even created, right? A job role which you think is vital but it's not there, well, hey, you can be the person who can apply for a role, talk to the people at the company, and make sure that you're finding new ways to work, you're finding new ways to learn, and of course be a part of your dream company as well, right? That is a definite pointer out there. Now, the question you might be asking is, okay, so if I am planning a career change in 2021, I'll be thinking about a completely new industry, right? You may be a person who's working on the technical side of healthcare industry, finance industry, digital marketing, wherever it is, right? If you're looking for a major overhaul, the first thing is that whenever you are looking towards a new industry, research about a lot about it, right? Think about what you want to do, rethink your interests. Is this what you want to do in the long term, right? Because at the end of the day, you will have the opportunity, an amazing opportunity, to start out fresh. You can start out in a different environment. So be it that you'll be moving to a new city, new country, or even a new continent after the pandemic ends as well, right? So this is the time to pause and reflect. This is the time to research about a new industry and find out what skill sets that you have, working on the same, making sure you're proficient at all the skill sets that's required for the new industry that you're trying to apply for, right? That's my point with this particular slide. Now, with this, you might have a question saying, okay, so why should you even change your career, right? Now, there are numerous points out here, and I'm sure that, we can discuss tens, if not hundreds of points out here, but here are some of the most important points for you guys. The first thing is career satisfaction, right? There might be a chance where you've been in your company for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or even 5 or 6 years, and you're not seeing the progression that you eventually were seeing when you joined the company. Maybe things have slowed down. Maybe you got bored of the job. The lack of advancement in your current company makes you want to push yourself, look for new challenges, hunt for new things, interesting things that you'd want to do, right? Everything from you being bored in your job just because there's not enough challenge, all the way to you being actually overwhelmed with what you're doing if you're not interested towards it. All of this comes under the same banner of career satisfaction. So this is a very important thing that you guys definitely have to think about. Now, the next reason of why you might be willing to change your career is probably flexibility in work, right? Now, there are certain cases, right? Think about the world before the pandemic, especially the world of information technology. Not all the companies and not all the job roles were open to work from home concepts, right? Probably in the US and the UK, these were common concepts. It was okay to work from home to a certain extent. But, in India, unless it's a Fortune 500, unless it's a very big company or a very understanding startup, it was a bit of a mismatch out here, right? But now if you see, the entire world is aligned inclined to work from home. There are certain companies which say you can permanently work from home if you choose to, and that kind of a trend is trickling down right from the big players all the way to small companies. Maybe you're a person who's looking forward to working, continuing your career, or even switching to a role where you have the freedom to sit and work from home for 1 year, 2 years, or 10 years as per your choice, right? So if this is your thought, or if you're a person who's looking for a part-time job in a different career as well, this could be a very good reason of why you're considering to switch your career too. Now, the third point in discussion, a very important point, is that it's about your passion. There's a very good chance that you finished college, you got into your first job, you're excited, you're doing all the things right, and maybe 1 or 2 years into your job, you got bored of it. You realize that it is not what you wanted to do, right? When you talk to a circle of friends, when you talk to a circle of peers and employees, there's a good chance they'll, in a casual conversation, it does come out saying that, hey, you know what, I wanted to be a photographer, but I am stuck as an engineer now. Something like that. I just gave you an example from a technical to a non-technical role, but I have definitely seen the other cases as well. Someone is in the field of digital marketing and they're absolutely interested in programming. They're learning programming on their own, they're hunting for jobs here and all of that, right? So your true passion might lie somewhere else than what you're doing currently. Of course, there are many important points. You might be getting paid really well at your current career, your job is amazing, your manager is amazing, all of these things are considered. But at the end of the day, is this something what you would want to do for the next 5 years or 10 years or a really long-term career, right? That is something that you have to think about. And there are certain moments where you make up your mind, you're very strong about it, saying, hey, now I've found my calling, I want to work towards it, and I'm not going to stop until I get there, right? That's an important point that you might be looking forward to whenever you're changing your career. Now, to talk about another important point, it's you being unhappy with your leadership, right? Sometimes it so happens that you're in a company. Again, it can be a name brand, it can be an amazing company, but your leadership, you find that your managers or whoever they are, there's something lacking in there, right? They don't see your ability, they don't see through the employee in you, and many things can happen, good things, bad things. Of course, keeping all of it professional itself, there can be certain barriers which will not help you in advancing your career too. This is not the case with all of you all, but I'm sure there's a majority of you who might be thinking about this as well, right? Favoritism, all of these, it doesn't go on in all the companies. But if you were one of these unlucky guys to have a bad manager, well, again, guys, you might be looking forward to switching your career as well, right? That's one side of things. The other side of things is that you want a new challenge. Maybe it's your current career. Maybe you're working on a small use case. Maybe you're working for a small client. You want to ramp up. You're looking for a new challenge, right? If things get really easy for you, if you're in your comfort zone, well, you'll be having a lot of fun, you can do a lot of time pass and all these things, but at the end of the day, to grow in your career, you have to step out of your comfort zone. There is no growth in the comfort zone, and there is no comfort in the growth zone, is something I personally believe in, right? So if you're a person who's looking for a new challenge, you just want to break out of whatever you're doing right now, you want to push yourself with new things. Maybe you have something at the back of your mind for a couple of months, weeks, or years, and you want to work towards it. Well, 2021 is showing really positive trends for what you would want to do genuinely as well, right? All the things which slowed down in 2020 are accelerating at a lightning pace now. So, that could be another reason, a positive, a calling, right? A godsend, as people say, for you if you're looking to change your career. Now, until this point, my suggestion is definitely, if you're looking forward to a career switch in 2021, the prospects, the numbers, the companies that are hiring back, the popularity of certification training, all of these things are showing on the positive side itself. So keeping all of this in mind, if you are very serious about a career change, you can start looking into some of these very important points. The first thing that you have to do if you're serious about a career career changes, to make sure that you take a note of all of your professional skills. Take a note out of it. Rate yourself on a rating of 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever it is. List them down. Work on getting proficient and all of that, right? This is the professional side of things. There's another very important thing that you have to look at is your morals, your values, your principles, and your ethics, right? Well, what good is principles if you don't stand up to them, right? It's an amazing thing that I read not long ago, and it makes so much sense. So always working on your values, principles, and ethics add a lot of value to you as a human, and of course in your professional life as well. So that's an important point. The third thing is an addition to the first point here. The first point said to assess your current skills. The third point will talk about how you will note down all the skills that are required for your new career. Right now, if you're moving from a non-technical role to a technical role, maybe you want to become a programmer now, right? So, what are the skills that are needed to become a programmer? There, you have to note these skills down, right? Whatever it is, whatever is the career that you're looking for, that is something which is very important. Now, the fourth thing is the world is on a different time frame is again something that I read, and it makes so much sense because at the end of the day, your time management skills, be it you're working from home, be it you're sitting in your office or whatever it is, your time management skill is going to come to a lot of play here, guys. So knowing that you have good time management skills is one thing, but working on improving your efficiency in terms of time is a whole new challenge on its own. So I highly suggest you put in a good amount of time and effort into understanding what you're good at in terms of time and where you're liking, right? That's an important point. The next thing, as I mentioned, a lot of people are looking towards a metric called as the adaptability quotient now. So you adapting into new roles is very important. There are a lot of surveys conducted which proves the same as well. So make sure that you can adapt to new things, adapt to new people, new working environment, sometimes new work timings, new work methodologies is something which is very difficult to get used to, is what I've seen, right? For the last 5 years or 10 years, you might be doing one thing in a very simple way. You might be having a scrum in the morning. Now in the new company that you're looking for in the new career, there might not be a concept of scrum. There might be a meeting in the evening which you're not used to again, and all of these things, right? I just gave you 2 or 3 nitpicky examples, but at the end of the day, there can be a million different things which will change. You have to have the capability to jump aboard the new train and make sure that you can hold on and not fall off. That's the point here, guys. And of course, then coming to the very important point of how you should build connections and talk to people. Now, before making a career switch, it is very, very important that you understand everything there is to know about the new thing, right? So spend a good amount of time to make sure that you are looking towards researching about the domain, understanding the pros, understanding the cons, a lot of different things. Every job that you look for, every career that you might be looking for will have certain pros and cons. You are a simple Google search away from finding a ton of content, a ton of positives and maybe some negatives about every single job role out there. So it's vital that you do this. But what adds more value is to make sure you actually talk to the people who are doing this, right? If you're looking to become a data scientist, well, connect with data scientists, talk to people, get on LinkedIn, get on other these job portals where you can socialize with people, meet with them, talk about their view about the industry, of where they think the industry is going, what are the challenges that they face, and all of these things, right? So connections are everything if you guys are looking for a career switch. Okay, and the next point is very important. It is not just you assessing your skills or working on new ones. It is to make sure you use examples to showcase this when you're changing your career, right? You might be a person who's coming from the healthcare domain to a programming domain or anything of that sort. So whenever you're switching these domains, you have to showcase yourself. You have to portray yourself in a way where you prove to your new employer or that that you are worthy of this kind of a switch. It can be a small switch. It can be a really huge switch, right? If you're coming from an arts background all the way to a data scientist role, both of these have their own challenges. So how are you adapting? How are you switching from the arts role to the data scientist role, right? What are your takeaways from your previous examples that you think will add value to this new role, right? Use examples. Don't just say, hey, to become a data scientist, I learned programming, I learned SQL. All of these are amazing, but what are some of these situations that helped you get from there to here? What are some of these examples that will showcase that, hey, when I was in my previous companies, I did X, Y, and Z, and I did this, and I think that will help me for my new career here, right? Use examples like that. The next thing, of course, is to work on your skills and to prove to your new employer and, of course, anyone hiring you for your new career that you have put in a good amount of time and effort into it, right? Certification programs are an amazing place to start. It will give you complete knowledge about the domain itself, and most of these specializations and post graduation degrees will take you right from a beginner and leave you at the end of it as an expert, right? So, this kind of a certification adds immense amount of knowledge to you while adding a lot of value to your resume as well, right? A certificate is something that holds an amazing amount of depth, an amazing amount of value when it comes to your profile and your CV. So make sure that you are looking towards this. If you're a person who's switching even from a programming background maybe to a cloud computing background, right? Cloud computing is this world that's usually governed by a lot of certifications. In that particular case, work on these certifications, and once you're certified, right, no matter what previous role you've come from, when you go to your new employer, when you give an interview there, people know for sure that, hey, this person is certified in XYZ domain or these concepts. So of course he or she has to be proficient in the same, right? So this is something that you guys should definitely look towards. And guys, the most important point that comes to my mind whenever we talk about a career change is knowing that imperfection is okay. Whenever you're making a small change or a drastic change, it is okay to miss small things here and there, but it is not okay to ignore them. So make sure that you have a plan to understand, where you lack, work on all of them, get up to speed, learn new things, and portray yourself to the new employer, or in fact to yourself, that you can go on to do these and achieve all of these new challenges that you have set out for yourself, right? This is a very important point. I have had a lot of people tell me that, hey, I do not have this skill in this particular domain, I will never make it because I'm not perfect. If you are on a hunt for perfection, it really doesn't add well with consistency. Perfection is one of these illusionary concepts. What you can work on consistency, you can get better and better and better. But if your thresholds keep changing, it's like an infinite staircase that you just keep climbing on, right? It's amazing that if you keep climbing and climbing, but there is no end to it. So this is an important point that you should know. Even if you trip and fall 3-4 stairs, it's okay. Get up and go back again. This is something which is very important that you should know if you're looking for a career switch, guys. And coming to the most important thing, you have to prepare for this question, right? The question that you're going to be asked in an interview if you're applying for a company in your new career is, why did you change your career? Right now, there are so many different ways to answer this question, but I'll give you the very important highlights here. The first thing that usually doesn't hold well with current employers or new employers is, don't try to badmouth your previous employer, right? You might have had a bad manager, you might have had a bad exit, you might have, been in a situation which is again very difficult to explain. In that case, unless you feel it's absolutely just that you have to do, make sure to keep things nice there, right? You can put it out in a very very structured way, in a very neutral way, but at the end of the day, straightforward bad mouthing a previous employer is not looked upon in the industry these days, guys. Right now, the second thing that I have seen a lot of people do is they try to talk about how their previous industry was lacking, right? They talk about how there wasn't any sort of value additions, there wasn't any new things in that industry, and that all these things are good, are amazing points, but what your new employer wants is to make sure that you talk about your future prospects, what it is that you took away from your previous jobs, what you learned, the lessons that you learned, and the takeaways from that, right? That is what they want to know, not about how your previous industry was completely lacking and you pondering upon that thought, right? The fourth thing is that whenever you ask this question, it always adds an amazing conclusion to talk about the challenges that you look forward to taking on, right? As I told you, there is no comfort in the growth zone, and it is an amazing thing, trust me. So talk about all the challenges that you plan to take on in the future, and your employer, or even if you're trying to talk about your new career to yourself, you will definitely be impressed with all of these things, guys. Always hunt for new challenges, take them on, go head on, and just see you pushing yourself, and at the end of the day, I'm sure that it's going to make you happy. So if you are a person who is looking forward to switching your career in 2021, again, to add on to all of these points we discussed previously, here are some key pointers for you guys. You are capable of achieving a lot, and make sure you never forget that, right? Whenever you're making a drastic change, usually you get views from your friends, family members, and all of that. And especially during these times, the pandemic is still not over, you might get a good amount of negative views saying, hey, it's risky doing that, you might not be able to do it, all of these negative feedback, right? Of course, constructive criticism is always good, but never try to doubt yourself if you can actually do it, right? That's an important first pointer here. The second thing is, no matter what skills you are, all of these will definitely be valued and highly looked upon if you're in the right workplace. So make sure you're looking towards that as well. The third thing is, whatever positives you had in your previous roles, previous career, whatever it is, make sure you bring it onto your new career as well. At the end of the day, as I told you, your morals, ethics, principles, and your professional skills are going to be foundational pillars that will help you govern a change in your new job, right? So make sure you're working on that as well. And the fourth thing is, since you're switching an entire career, or you're looking forward to switching it, you need a master plan to go on to do this. This cannot be a half an hour or 1 hour's worth of thought saying, hey, I want to jump ship from data science to cloud computing, let's start. That's a good start, of course, but at the end of the day, that cannot be your entire plan, right? You need a plan of action. You need to assess all your current skills, take a note of the new skills, talk to people in the industry, find out about certifications, prepare yourself with specializations. All of these different skills is going to take time. So have patience, if you are looking forward to that as well. So right, guys, to summarize this video of should you change your career in 2021, let's talk about all the good things together. The first thing is, understand why it is that you want to change your career. One bad experience at your workplace usually triggers a huge change, right? Sometimes people say, okay, you know what, let's give it another chance. Or if it's something that's really bad, of course, a switch is something that you have to look forward to. So it's not always these negative cases that that will sort of make you want to switch. Even the positive ones, you're bored, your job is really easy for you, and all of these things, again, switch to make sure that you're on par with all of these challenges, right? Find out all the trending job opportunities out there, put in a good amount of time researching about the new industry that you're planning to give a jump to, have an important action plan to make this switch, and of course, back up all of your things, all of your skills, all of your knowledge, all of your morals, ethics, and all of these things, and bring over all the positives from your previous jobs. And a very, very important point is, make sure that you prove that you deserve whatever role it is. You can be proving this to yourself if you're not working on under any employer, but if you're looking forward to attending an interview in your new career and all of that, your resume is going to be a very important part of all of these, right? Again, a certification in your resume showing that you are dedicated into this, you've put in a good amount of effort, and you've given a good amount of time to your new career is going to add a lot of value. So make sure you look towards certification, specialization, and other offerings in the same domain as well. So guys, with this, what do you think your views are for a career change in 2021? If you're taking a look at the prospective side, it's all amazing. The trends are really positive, but it is you who has to align towards these trends, and your current situation, whatever it is that you have in your mind, is eventually going to govern if you should change your career in this particular year or not, right? So guys, what are your views about this? Make sure you head to the comment section and do let us know about your views on this. And with that, you have come to an end of this session. Really looking forward to finding all of your views and opinions about this topic. So I take this opportunity to wish you all the very best for whatever's ahead for you.
I want to introduce you to Great Learning Academy. This is a free initiative by Great Learning where you can have access to over 200 plus courses with 1000 plus hours of free content on all of the trending high demand domains absolutely free. Register now to complete the course and get your free certificate of completion as well. Check out the link in the description box of the video below for more details. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This is done to make sure you do not miss out on any of the new updates or video releases from Great Learning. And of course, guys, if you enjoy this video, show us some love and do like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, right? So make sure you share this video with your friends, colleague, and everyone who can make use of it. And at the end of it, make sure to comment on the video if you have any queries or any suggestions, and I'll be more than happy to respond to all of your comments.